Thank you all. Get all go ahead and get to our seats. We're gonna get started. All right. Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order at 8:10 p.m. We'll begin with our first and roll call. When your name is called, please indicate you're present. Starting with Senator ASUC. Senator Allred. Here. Senator Beardsley. Here. Senator Cannon. Senator Cannon, not here. Senator Joe. Senator Representative Miguel. Not present. Senator Lozani. Senator Lucaro. Here. Senator Raymond. Here. Senator Mendez. Here. Senator Nunez Rivera. Here. Senator Rodriguez. Not present. Senator Santos. Senator Scott. Not present. Senator Thomas. Senator Davey. Not present. Senator Reading. Here. Senator Dadan. Senator Dadan. President. Senator Ty. Here. Senator Schwick. Here. Senator Yang. Here. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to recognition of other lands. The ASUC recognizes that ASUC replaced on the territory of Houston, the original landscape to Chinese speaking Ohlone. The successors of the sovereign were and family in County. This region continues to be of great importance to the Ohlone tribe and other familial descendants of the Roman band. We recognize every member of the Berkeley community has and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1968. Consistent with our values of community, inclusion, and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the diversity of relationships needed. As members of the Berkeley community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history, the land on which we stand, but also we recognize the Ohlone people that are alive and flourishing members of the Berkeley and broader Bay Area communities today. All right, is there a motion on the floor for this evening's agenda?
Keep it off the agenda.
Senator Beardsley moves to adopt the agenda. Is there a second? Second. Josh was not here. You are requesting a retract of the motion.
I need that real quick to add up the agenda.
Seal requests to retract.
I retract.
Senator Beardsley retracts the motion. Is there a motion on the floor? For new visit, is it no? I don't have the message.
Sorry, I thought Josh would be here, but just real quick, we're gonna be moving in a referendum to the electoral timeline, which is talked about. For a second, it should already be emailed to admin office. But if I could get a motion to add it according to Senate File 1, Section 8+7.1.
So parliamentarian is requesting an amendment to the agenda to add the Strong Act resolution. Their motion.
Just Strong Act.
Okay. You would add it as what's the last bill right now on that last?
On you mean
Yes, this would be SR 5.6.069 X branch. It'll be the whole title will be not every Josh bill for.
Okay, so is there a motion to amend the agenda to add SR 25-26069 to the agenda on new business?
I don't have 069. Like I did some
Okay.
it didn't get an email to me. Okay.
So moved by Senator Beardsley. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Ty. Any questions? All right, seeing here none, the agenda will be amended to reflect a new resolution added on to new business. All right, any motions on the floor for the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Senator Beardsley moves to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Reading. Any objections? Seeing none, the agenda has been approved as amended. All right, so we have a guest announcement tonight. So we have Cecilia Lepar here, cover the District 7. So I'll give her a round of applause. Hi, everyone. Yes, I do. So I'm gonna put it on here and then you can just press the space bar. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cecilia Guevara. I'm a Berkeley City Council member and I represent District 7. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a moment. I'm so excited to let you say the district. I have been thinking about this for a while now, and it's the first time that I'm actually doing it. I want it to be a recurring thing, every semester at our Senate meeting, so. Which yes. Okay. So this is District 7. It is one of the 8 council districts in the city of Berkeley. And is a 95% student district. The median age is 19 years old. It is a very dense neighborhood, with low car ownership and includes most of the dorms, the great lighthouses and many co-ops. It kind of dubbed the student district, although there are many students that live outside of District 7 because students are such a large part of the Berkeley population. But it is essentially my job on city council to represent you all. I sit on city council with 8 other council members, or 7 other council members and the mayor. I was a student here at Cal. I graduated in 2024 in urban studies and history. And I ran for city council and won in 2024. Okay, so first I want to talk through, so I have this whole presentation, and I want to go through it kind of quickly. There's going to be a lot of information on these slides, but I want to go through it semi-quickly so that I can give y'all the opportunity to ask questions, and we can have a little more dialogue on whatever you are most interested in hearing about. But first I wanted to go through some of the boards and commissions that I sit on. Each council member sits on both local boards, committees that are formed of a small amount of council members that then advise the larger city council on issues, and also regional boards. So I chair the Facilities, Infrastructure, Transportation, Environment, and Sustainability Committee, which is FICE for short. I am also on the Land Use, Housing, and Economic Development Committee. And then there is something that the 4x6, the City UC Student Relations Committee, where 4 council members sit on the committee and 6 representatives of the university, so 2 admin, 2 undergraduate students, and 2 graduate students. And I sit on that with your external affairs vice president, Calvin Hay. I also sit on the 4x4, the Joint Task Force on Housing, with Rec Board, so 4 Rec Board members, 4 council members. I'm city representative to the League of California Cities, which is an organization that represents interests of cities throughout California. This is an organization that tends to lean very conservative because each city gets 1 WT no matter the size. So that's interesting. That's an interesting position. And then I'm also the alternate for Supervisor Rosemary Ross and Alameda County Transportation Commission, and the alternate for council member Trey on the Ava Community Energy Board. So these are some of the major issues that I want to talk to you about what we've been doing at City Council and what I've been trying to focus on. And the kind of the key priority that I think the city focuses on the most is around housing. And this includes housing supply, tenant protections, and development of affordable housing. Something that I'm also really passionate about is transportation and infrastructure. So this means complete streets, stormwater management, public transportation. And then on public safety, this ranges from wildfire preparedness. I also focus on alternatives to policing and police accountability, and the council as a whole, even though I disagree with it, has decided to focus on surveillance, using surveillance as a tactic of police. And then as a council, we have we are a sanctuary city, and put in a lot of effort to try to defend that from attacks from the federal government. And I also focus on student engagement. We have a large internship program and also student support initiatives. The city also this year has a $30 million budget deficit, and so I'll talk a little bit more about how that's kind of clouding everything else. So some of the things that we've worked on housing are up here right now. Recently, we have been single housing ordinance, which it increased the density maximum and ease restriction on height, setbacks, etc. to try to, for some of our single family neighborhoods, to turn into denser neighborhoods. And this actually doesn't impact District 7 basically at all, because we have very little, single family areas. We also passed the demolition ordinance, which protects rent controlled and low income tenants in case of demolition and redevelopment. So that in the case that an apartment building is getting torn down and built back up, that tenants living there are protected and that those affordable units stay affordable in perpetuity. We also passed Measure DB and the tenant right to organize, and my office has been hosting a task force that has unionized over a dozen buildings all over the city, including a couple in Southside. We also passed a referral that seeks to create a station encampment for unhoused residents. And we are prohibiting AI pricing algorithms to avoid landlord collusion, although that's something that will be much more effective at scale. On transportation, something that we've been working on is our car free telegraph budget referral, which passed a couple months ago. And we're looking to get some funding from LRDP, which is the money that the city gets from the university in lieu of property taxes. We did a ribbon cutting for our South and Complete Streets, which was finished about a year and a half ago, for our new streets and sidewalks on the south side. We've been working on the bike plan and fire codes, which was affecting the ability for the holiday market to set up on Telegraph, so we were able to get them to set up on Telegraph, even though there was a lot of debate around it with the fire department needing more evacuation space. We also were the first in the region to comply with the curb painting requirements that require cities to have daylight intersections so that pedestrians can more easily cross the street. And we're also trying to increase the fees for some of our micromobility providers, so our scooters, so that we can create more preventive infrastructure so people can park safely instead of leaving them on sidewalks, as I'm sure you all have noticed people do. On public safety, this is a really heavy topic right now in council. A majority of council has, as I said earlier, shifted against some of the police reforms that we implemented in 2020, and around 2020, and especially around surveillance. So there's a contract that the city will likely bring to the city council with Flock, and Flock is a company, a surveillance company that is known to collaborate with ICE and other immigration enforcement agencies at the federal level. And so the question is here is whether the city is willing to put aside our sanctuary city commitment to have surveillance technology. And that is TBD when it will come to pass. There's also been other, I guess, eroding of police accountability in the city. I can talk more about it if y'all are interested, but some of the upcoming items that council hasn't yet voted on, but I want you to be aware of, includes allowing the Berkeley Police Department to use canines and helicopters. In 2020, the council adopted a ban on the Berkeley Police Department using tear gas, and the council members trying to overturn that ban. And then all the weakening of pepper spray reporting. So right now, Berkeley Police Department has to report every single time that they use pepper spray, and the council member again is trying to get rid of some of those reporting requirements to make it easier for the department to pepper spray people. And so I wanted you all to know about this because it's important for students, especially the ones that have to do with protesting, and so that y'all can come out if you're interested. In terms of the wildfire protection and evacuation work, we partnered with a student organization that did a lot of research around how, to what extent students were prepared in case of an evacuation, especially a wildfire evacuation, and they found that only 5% of people are well informed, self-reported to be well informed on the plans and what they're supposed to do in case of an evacuation, which is really concerning. So that's something that we want to focus on. Especially because the city kind of assumed that people were going to evacuate by car, but as you know, students don't tend to have cars to evacuate, and so we have to find alternative modes of evacuation. We also adopted something called Ember, which is a zone zero, which means that you are 5 feet around your house or building or whatever. You can't have vegetation in the red zones over here. So this is college So everything east of college is affected by this policy, and those houses should all have notifications and should be communicated with already, but if they're not, please, if you live there and you're not, please. And we're also working on an ordinance to require businesses that sell alcohol to also have to have Narcan in their first aid kits, because we've heard of multiple people, unfortunately, overdosing in these areas and the business not having the tools necessary to hold them. And we're also always working on street lighting work, because I know that you all are very interested in it as well. That's something that is always top of mind for us as well. And immigration, the city of Berkeley, as I said earlier, is a sanctuary city, which means that the city will not cooperate with ICE or immigration authorities unless they have a legal judicial warrant, in which case we would be forced to. But those are very rare. And Berkeley P also publicly committed to not interfering with nonviolent ICE protests. So essentially, if you are doing something illegal but not violent, such as blocking the street or surrounding an ICE vehicle, Berkeley PD will not intervene. UCP would not commit to this, so just so you all know that as well. We also have a contracting ordinance, so the city will not contract companies collaborate with ICE as well. And the city of Berkeley also last month unanimously called for the abolition of ICE, and I believe we're the first city to do so. In terms of student engagement, we have a paid internship program that provides students policy experience, communication, will grow in education. We have had many interns from the ASUC as well, which has been amazing. We'll have our program back open in the fall. We also try to appoint students to boards and commissions. So a super majority of our commissioners are either current students or recent graduates. We're actually right now looking for two commission appointments. One is for the homeless panel of experts, and we're looking for someone specifically who has personal or academic experience with homelessness, and then the personnel board, which is kind of a dry commission. But if someone is interested and wants to go into HR or something like that, this would be a great place for that experience. And these commitments are once a month meetings. They're usually around 2 hours, and you can get stipended for them. So if you or anyone you know would be interested, please let me know. I'm also always down to speak at student organizations for anything that folks are interested in talking about, so feel free to reach out anytime. I've also spoken to like senators, offices, and their teams, which has been an awesome experience, and people really enjoy it, and I really enjoy it, so please feel free to reach out. Like I said earlier, the city of Berkeley is facing a $30 million+ structural budget deficit this year, which is kind of clouding all of our other priorities. And we're gonna have to make some really hard decisions in terms of what we're gonna cut. A lot of cities are in this position right now across the country, but it's really unfortunate. And we'll be adopting our 2-year budget this summer. Okay. Now, I'm super happy to answer any questions. Here's my email and my Instagram. You can contact us at either. And also go to my link tree, which is right there for the website, newsletter, sign up, or any resource guides. We have a couple around tenants' rights, immigration.
Any questions? Does somebody want to, the mic's right there, want to pass it, Summer?
Hi.
Hello. Okay, there's we go.
Hi, thank you so much for taking the time of your day to come present to us all. We all definitely appreciate the presentation. I just had a follow-up question as to saying, or I guess I don't know if it was in the meeting with UCPD, but UCPD saying like they're not committed to they're not publicly committed to not interfering with nonviolent ICE protests, and so I guess like if you had a meeting with them, what is it that they can said, or if they're allowed to shoot?
Yeah, so this was, I got this information from them when we got the news that that ICE was gonna come to the Bay Area in October. So the city of Berkeley hosts a kind of roundtable for immigration work, and the UC is invited there. So at that meeting, which was right before that weekend when we thought I was gonna Bay, or do a large raid in Bay. I asked our police department and they answered saying that they would not interfere, and then I asked the UC in front of all the people, and they said, well, we still have to comply with time, place, and manner, we have to make sure everyone's complying with time, place, and manner, whatever. And they would not commit, they wouldn't give me a straight answer. I haven't had a follow-up with that, so they might have come up with a policy, but I haven't got it.
Thank you. And then I have one follow-up question about the budget deficit. You mentioned that the city of Berkeley has $3 million structural budget deficit this year, and that you're gonna make hard decisions about what to cut. Are you allowed to share specifically like what the council of Berkeley is considering cutting?
That's a good question. I think it probably will be an across the board cut that will affect every department. In terms of which departments are gonna be hit harder. Because the police and fire departments take up so much of our budget, and a lot of it goes to overtime, I think that they'll be hit the hardest, but that is a political fight that is to be determined. But it is, everything's gonna be lit. And for context, also 30 million out of the, over 800,000, $800 million budget.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, thank you, as I'm Gina, by the way, sorry to keep you and talk to you. I was just curious, as I know people who are on Star TV, specifically represent the disabled community who have been relying on public transit. And so I know there is like, potential budget cuts in terms of easy transit and the part. And I know that there's like legislation like a ballot measure that's trying to be implemented in regards to that, so I was just curious, on what your team has done and, if there was any progress in that direction.
Yeah, those are great questions, thank you. So the city of Berkeley is like a separate jurisdiction from East Transit and BART, they have their own governing boards. And I'll talk about the measure in a second, but I think I have to do that like on like it's my personal opinion and does not represent the city because it's a political matter. But so there will be a regional tax increase, sales tax increase that is going to fund BART, East Transit, and all of the transit in the Bay Area, at least the lower Bay Area. Sorry. And that will be on the November ballot. They're currently collecting signatures, but that's a separate campaign. Part of the reason why they're in this budget deficit right now is all local governments are in budget deficits, but they're especially in a really bad one because when the pandemic hit, less people started taking transit, and that has not gone back to its full potential or full pre-pandemic ridership levels. And especially BART relies very heavily on fares, and less on government subsidies. So the fact that less people are riding it means they have less money, which means that they run less trains, which means less people ride it, and then it's a cycle. So this measure is hoping to just save East Transit and BART and Muni, etc. From this huge catastrophic moment. And that's just.
Is there a motion to extend time?
I motion to extend time by 5 minutes.
Senator Mendez moves to extend time by 5 minutes, seconded by Senator Maimon. Any objections? I figured out. We have 2 mics up there.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. My name is Savina, and one of the questions that I had was if you know the topic on police regulation and the use of tear gas and pepper spray will be brought up in this upcoming city council meeting, or when and where will that be brought up and discussed?
That's a really good question. The pepper spray item is gonna come to council on March 10th. The tear gas one, we don't know an exact time yet. I would guess that it's March 24th, but it might be pushed back to the first meeting in April, which I think is like April 13th or something like that. So probably one of those two.
Okay, perfect.
but pepper spray will be on 10.
Okay, awesome. And then I had another question, on the new development on like former People's Park and like that new student housing, there's a guaranteed number of like beds for in-house folks. I wanted to know what the update like was on that and if the city had any updates, since I know they were going back and forth with like the housing option that they had any specific plans for that, and if they're still going to commit with the amount of beds that they originally.
This is a really great question, and I'm so glad you're asking it. Just to clarify, People's Park is entirely governed by the university, so the city does not actually decide what happens at it. The university has been waffling on how many units there will be of permanent supportive housing, and this is a very important distinction between permanent supportive housing and capital A affordable housing. Permanent supportive housing is much more expensive, and the university promised at least 100 units of permanent supportive housing when the city supported the People's Park development. And they have now walked that back and said that it was only probably gonna be about 50% permanent supportive housing and 50% affordable housing. And affordable housing sounds good and it is good, but affordable housing is much easier to come by than permanent supportive housing is. Permanent supportive housing is directly for formerly unhoused people, whereas affordable housing is for low income people generally. They're both important, but permanent supportive housing is much more rare and expensive.
You know, if there's any way that students could give like input or ask for like transparency in terms of that project, or like who to contact specifically for the university?
That's a good question. I mean, the university, yeah, do you wanna?
It would probably be Division of Administration, but we can talk about it after this, so.
I've been trying to push the university to commit to return to their commitment. They actually just found an affordable housing provider. Which is great, so but they haven't released their final plans, so. Pressure them, you could also pressure SAHA, I don't know, that's the affordable housing provider, I don't know what it stands for, but it's SAHA. But they'll probably not be the decision, they'll be university.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Yeah, well, somebody's gonna need to recognize, but if somebody wants to.
Motion to recognize
Fine.
9 Bill.
So moved by Senator Mendez, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Stankovic. The guest is recognized.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming here. I have two hopefully good questions. For the budget deficit, are there any avenues that the city is exploring to try and like remedy that deficit, or is this a reality that we have to contend with, and we foresee that deficit growing or like having to cut more in the future?
Let me talk a little bit about why we have this budget deficit. A large reason is mismanagement of former councils, but another, I guess, a side portion of that is that during COVID, we increased our services to the public significantly with some of the federal aid that we were receiving. And once that federal aid ended and we had further federal cuts, then, and we still had these programs ongoing, like they were permanent programs. That led us, that like, we kind of pushed off, those decisions until now. So, I think that the deficit will probably grow, but not that significantly, unless we continue to get more cuts from the federal and state government, which also are likely. If elections happen in 2028 and we get a new, a Democratic president, then hopefully they will return some of the aid that they were providing to local governments, or like sanctuary city local governments. And that would help as well. What was your first question?
I'm sorry, I didn't ask my second question, completely unrelated, but for the housing.
Wait,
Wait,
before
no,
you do
what
that-
was your first question?
Oh, just, are there other avenues the city is exploring in terms of like trying to remedy that deficit, or is?
Sorry. Sorry, we need another motion to extend time. Senator Solomon moves to extend time by 5 minutes, seconded by Senator Maymon. Any objections? Sorry, thank you.
Thank you very much. Or is the budget deficit just a reality we have to live with the next couple of years?
It's both, the city is looking at a sales tax increase, but unfortunately, sales taxes are pretty regressive on taxation. But our sales tax is a little lower than some of our neighbors. So we're gonna bring it up, we're likely gonna bring it up to par. And then there's always, like the main way to address it is increase in taxes and there's only so much we can ask of our residents. So it's both. We'll have to, eat some of it and hopefully we can generate some more revenue as well.
Thank you. And my second question was back to your housing topics, where you noted that the city has tried to prohibit like AI pricing algorithms by landlords. Is the state looking at any initiatives currently to do that, or is that something that we like need to get the state started on? And how would that state level support or like action help what's currently happening?
Yeah, we ran into some legal trouble with our AI, with our algorithm. Bill, because, I don't know how much I can talk about it actually. But it would be much more helpful for the state to do it and then fight those legal battles, because they have a lot of resources. And also because this is not like such a hyper localized issue. If a landlord, a corporate landlord can use the data of Oakland and Richmond and Oswego, then they can kind of extrapolate Berkeley's rents as well, so Berkeley can in a vacuum address this issue, which is why it would be helpful at the state level. There are some bills, I think we have one bill that was turned into a 2-year bill, that is supposed to address this, but there's a lot of opposition to it. From lobbies.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Great, thank you so much for being here.
Have a good evening. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
Yes, we're going to use the, obviously, that the sense control kind of questions to that as well. I know this thing we're bringing up during the question portion. Yes, sorry.
Even if you just want to chat and like go be coffee, I'm also always happy to do that. Just keep chat. Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Yes. This is really, really cool. Awesome. Okay, so now we'll move on to general public comment. So at this point in time, any member of the public may make a general public comment relating to any issue that concerns the association or its members. Individuals who wish to speak may make one general public comment, which may not exceed 2 minutes. Speakers cannot yield their time at any point. A reminder that this portion of the meeting is dedicated to general matters related to ASUC, and public comments related to items on the consent calendar or meeting considerations such as specific resolutions may not be made at this time and are reserved for later in the meeting. The Senate reserves the right to cut off speakers who exceeded their allotted time and interrupt speakers who are discussing matters related to items on the consent calendar or meeting consideration, or remove members of the general public from the meeting if they constitute a serious disruption to the orderly conduct of Senate proceedings. So this time, if you'd like to make a general public comment, if you come around here. All right. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to, we'll skip general public comment, and we'll move on to our executive officer reports. We'll go ahead and start with President Howe.
Hello, everyone. Happy week 6. You can choose what I have to be exactly. It is you. Also want to shout out Matt. This is Matt's birthday on Sunday. I have the best part from that. Yeah, thank you. Moving on to my updates. Here's some of the events that we just had. We had our grant distribution event on Friday. It was a success. For the community centers that weren't able to attend, we were able to deliver microwaves, fridges, other filtration things over to the specific offices. Their community spaces that was really great way to give back with the big seat money. We are planning to have a social impact panel with the GSA. There's especially the kind of student government in Oz School of Business. So that's something to look forward to. But we did a blood drive collaboration. So if anyone's donated blood or if you support it anyway, shout out to you, thank you. Also working with shout out to me. And then we are scheduling meetings with PhD and ISC leadership, especially around the concerns of student safety, just to have more cross cohesion for leadership in the various spaces here at UC Berkeley. We're starting partnerships with Berkeley Community Educator Network. I think there's a school in Oakland that wants to start up their own student government, so they want to partner with our office to see how that happens, which is really cool. But some really important things I want to share. CATSIF, we're continuing to review applications since that application closed 2 weeks ago. So we're starting to look over applications. Had IT strategy committee, not many updates. Budget committee, I was not able to attend, I have nice to meet you there. Big C, we're also starting to look over our applications. So if you apply for Big C, we're in the review process right now, just to provide that update. Council presidents, we convened to kind of discuss our issue areas for when we are going to be development in April. So how do we want to present ourselves as a UC association? What are kind of our priorities for the remainder of the semester? This was a really special one, but thank you, Maria, for accompanying me to this. But my high school senior year teacher found out that I was president, and she wanted me to be her student. So they organized a trip here in UC Berkeley. It was so sweet, and I know that it meant a lot for the students also beyond Maria, because Maria was even born in Iran. So, and she speaks American, so it was really cool. Really great and touching way to reconnect. We had a lot of panels, Shakespeare, two terms, hello, he is. He was here, I think those who came to the event, it was really great. Also just really value his expertise in the ASUC saying that we moved into law school. Any other important things from here? Oh, we had an advisory appointed met with the UC student region. I think the other executives are putting to provide more updates, but we essentially shared our main priorities here at Berkeley. I talked about getting state funding for, especially now that Cal is a Black serving institution, we want state funding to back that up. Also talked about selective free speech in terms of, the university kind of picks and chooses what free speech they protect. And we wanted that to wanted to see if the UC student region had any advice about how to do that to UC. And ultimately mentioned again that how we plan to support our student groups at the end of the day is we want to see more financial backing, and we want to see them put that into the office. Yes. Also finally convened the ACCJ Student Safety Task Force. And a little fun thing I did, I presented about the ACC at the rally called DPAL, so that was a little fun to not be so stressed. But here's some other really important ones. I think Isha, Brittany, Jenny will talk about this, but we met with CFO Sparks and Vice Provost Perlin to connect about how ACC budget can align with university priorities. So for folks who don't know, we essentially talk about so if you're waiting the 26-27 school year, your budget is pre-planned the year before. So all divisions of this entire school is going to have a due date of like May 1st to submit their priorities, and from there they create the fiscal budget. So I know y'all are on your computers right now, so I hope you're looking at the email that Cindy sent about asking for budget priorities, because it's really important given that the new administration we're living under is cutting back on a lot of money, especially for DEI groups. So if you're looking at your computer, I hope you pulled up that email, you filled out that Google form. We also had Chief appointed officer committee meeting, talk about the future, so if you're interested, minutes should go out, public notice and you, or you check the agenda. Tomorrow, I have a check meeting with the Associate Vice Chancellor to Chancellor Ryan for Australian Camps. We're going to talk about, again, more updates in the internal university space, so if you have any recommendations or if you want to have this
Motion to extend.
I move to extend time by 5 minutes.
Senator Time moves to extend time by 5 minutes, 2 seconds. Seconded by Senator Nunez Zamora. Any objections?
Thank you, starting out, there's just a lot, especially since we're in the heat of the semester. But yeah, so if you have anything that you want to bring up to the Chancellor's cabinet, or if you have any internal questions, regarding, for example, we're going to be talking about during how talking about any internal movies with that, and also, other things that have happened within the undergraduate spaces, please let me know, because she's literally the right hand person. We also have the ASUC GA thing tomorrow, so I encourage you all to come. Feel free to bring folks in your office, chief staff, anything of that sort, so that we can have more cross Asian Collaboration Press Association. We got a big season meeting on Friday, and Isha and I have student meeting board directors on Friday, so booked and busy. Yes. Okay, cool. Any questions for me? I hope folks are paying attention. Thank you. Okay, cool. Good to see you all. Keep up the great work. I hope the interns are enjoying you, but reach out if you need support here for y'all. Thank you.
Alright, well, our next report is me. Pretty awesome. Lots of exciting stuff. I hope your semester all been going well. This semester's been so great and fun, and we do have a lot of important case guidance going on right now. Kind of like Abby was talking about as well. Okay, so we have 3 resolutions proposed by our office that you all are voting on tonight. We've got a chance to take a look at them. First one is cost allocations. There might be a second resolution, or there will be a second resolution as well. Kind of finishing those cost allocations up. Another resolution to establish the undocumented student affairs committee. Right now, convention, and right now they're a committee. So this will make them a convention of the ASUC. And then the third one is amending the webmaster dialogues to improve the ASUC website and how much the webmaster is able to make it better and more streamlined, because I know the website is a really big resource for students to use to access the ASUC. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions on those resolutions. And then after office hours have been ongoing. Next week our office is hosting a social fundraiser and a six-room coffee. We're gonna have games. Everyone is welcome to come. There's also gonna be like 10% off discount at 1951, so it's 6:30 to 8:30 next Tuesday. For those who don't know, 1951 supports the refugee community at Berkeley through job training and employment opportunities. So all the proceeds will go directly back to their because they're a nonprofit. So it'll all go directly back to them and supporting the community. And then another exciting thing is we have the ASUC wide trivia night happening in 2 weeks. This fundraiser is going to support the Immigrant Defense Fund. So basically, I talked about this last week, but just to reiterate, if anybody wasn't here, this is basically all your offices can register teams of 5. So please stand and sign up. And there's like a $15 donation for your like team to enter, so $3 per person for all your team members, and then we'll all go to charity. And basically, like all the ASC offices will compete against each other in ASC trivia, and then one this will be the other is like the trophy. So yeah, sign up. It's gonna be really fun. We're doing this with Shelby and Gigi office, so just an opportunity for members from all across the association to get to know each other a little bit more and foster like collaboration and like fun competition. Okay, students are meeting next week. So on Monday, we have our social hour. This is an informal opportunity for you all to connect with the chancellor on Monday. Ask any questions ahead of time before we do our formal meeting, which is open to the public. And that meeting will be on next Wednesday, right here at 8 p.m. So please encourage your communities to come. As you guys know, the chancellor is not meeting with student community groups anymore. And this year, we're going to be implementing like a like live Q&A section at the end, so people can ask questions. It's gonna be like 20 minutes long at the end of the session. And kind of heeding all of your feedback from last semester, we're going to be structuring the session a little bit differently. So hopefully you guys all got a chance to read my email, but basically it's gonna be centered around 2 main issue areas based on all the questions and concerns you guys submitted to me. And then the chancellor will give like a 10 to 15 minute report on each issue. And then there'll be like 15 minutes for people to ask follow-up questions. So you all, regardless of if you submitted one for that topic, like you can ask like, hey, like I want to know more about this, or you can choose to dialogue and say, how can we work together on this, or ask them to delve deeper into anything that you feel like needing this addressing. And then yes, like I said, there's also the obvious Q&A at the very end. We'll probably be able to like ask everybody's questions. So if you kind of want to like work within your communities to see like, okay, like, you know, one community group really wants to ask one question, you can encourage them to all kind of like bands around and all submit questions that you can ask. Oh yes, and then one big thing I've really been trying to do that I've told you guys about is like making sure that the AUC has more of a role in central campus budget planning processes. And so that's kind of what Abby was talking about, but we had a really good meeting with Herlin and the CFO, Jenny Sparks today. And it was me, Abby, Jenny, and Brittany, and we were talking about what it looks like if the AUC have a larger role. And also it's really exciting because the campus CFO is probably going to be engaging with ASUC leaders more next year, and we're really going to follow through and make sure that happens, so that we can give meaningful input. And like Abby was saying, and Cindy sent, out. This is the budget committee form. So the ASUC budget committee has been meeting pretty regularly over the course of the year, and we're submitting our final memo to the campus CFO about what we want to see in the budget on March 13th. So please fill out this form so that the ASUC budget committee, which is, there's a few senators on it, and then me and a lot of the execs are on it as well. We can submit our budget priorities from the ASUC to Temple campus. So this is like a really good way to directly influence what the ASUC is asking for from the campus. And we really want to see strong community. After this is going on, all stars, annual budgeting space allocation process, let me know if you have questions or join tonight or spaces director at asu.org. Some important meetings I had this week, and my time's running out, so I'll end there. You guys can feel free to read through anything you have questions about, but it's my update for today. Are there any? No questions. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are feeling all good and prepped, and I'm excited for the meetings Wednesday. You can dress up a little bit too if you like, but it's mandatory. All right, great. Thank you guys. All right, next up we have our academic affairs vice president, Jenny Chan.
Hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Awesome. All right, very short update from me today. Here's a list of meetings I went to, and I'll explain the important ones that you may or may not care about in this slide. Awesome. So I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the ASU, with the academic senate, ASU Senate. And in this meeting, we talked about the adjunct deadline and implementation. And I was in a couple of questions for the academic senate chair, so we got those answered. We briefly talked about faculty course adoption rates. We brought up an undocumented student resource syllabi amendment that we're going to co-sign within the academic senate, and then we talked about some issues. We talked about PACAI, but we'll get that into that now. I had a meeting with PACAI, which is a committee within vice provost or executive provost and chancellor Ben Hermalin's office that oversees campus divisions on implementation of AI policies. And we talked about the student aspects of AI education that we would like to see. We talked about central AI education, so having all Berkeley students kind of come in with a base understanding of what generative AI is, what it does to student learning, how students use it effectively, how students not use it effectively, etc. And we talked about this kind of confusing thing that I've been saying for a while with students experiencing different AI policies in different departments and different areas of campus, and kind of making sure that AI is encouraging departmental culture changes around AI so that at least in your major or in the department that you work in specifically, you have a general culture that you're able to connect with and that you resonate with as a student. That doesn't change from your class to class so specifically. That is like super jarring. We had a meeting or connection with OP about the physical sciences breadth and adding some sustainability classes to that, so that was fun. And we had a meeting with all of these different stakeholders in which we talked about faculty course adoption rates. Faculty course adoption rates is the thing I talked about 2 weeks ago with professors adopting course materials and making them be available on one specific portal that you then log down to accessible to your textbooks, readings, etc. And we were able to get some clarity on how to move forward with increasing faculty course adoption rates. I had a meeting that everyone else had with GPCP and the CFO, discussed the legislative, and then I just have an actual office about the school development resources and college student development. All right, that's it. I'll take any more time. Any questions? Ooh, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, and then next up, we've got our student advocate, Brittany Steven.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys are well. Great to see you guys. I have two very short updates as well, so I won't keep you guys too long. Just a bunch of meetings. This week was a lot busier than I anticipated it being. But a lot of internal meetings with chiefs and directors as well as like recurring leadership all staff. Also been meeting with EOP readmission grant committee review. Or doing like the review for the EOP readmission equity grant. So there's a committee of me and the financial aid director with my office, as well as some folk from EOP, and we've just been reviewing all the applications that have been coming in for the EOP readmission equity grant and seeing which students will be receiving funding for this grant. We have about like $50,000 to allocate. So we have a lot of smaller requests, so hopefully we'll be able to kind of maximize all the students that will be able to support with this grant. Also, like Abby and Isha and all these execs mentioned so far, we had the lunch with the UC student rate. It was really, really cool. That's to mobilize some of the concerns that we had, especially this past semester with enforcement of free speech policy that is Berkeley on campus, just because we feel like there's been an unequal application of that, so we're able to express some of those concerns. Also had execs and appointeds, but we had a meeting with about the budget prioritization with Benjamin Herman as well as us execs, which was really good to talk about transparency of the budget and how students can have more feedback and input to the budget. Just because I know all of us here as student leaders have a lot of feedback about what we want to see funded on campus, as well as a lot of concerns about things that might be defunded or cut on campus. So we just really had that meeting to mobilize those concerns and really advocate about for the student voice in that discussion. And then also we met with OP to talk about the digital partnership, and then also student risk committee. I have it as me that went to that meeting as well. And then more information about EOP phone banking. So we ended up receiving over 90 EOP reach and grant applications, which is a huge increase to the amount of grant applications that we received in the past. I think this is because we had an enormous amount of phone banking calls that we had to make in the office, but it worked very, very smoothly. And I'm super happy that this grant is just getting a lot more publicization. I think that also goes to tell about how you guys are also publicizing things. I know that you guys, a lot of you guys repost it. So that was super helpful. And thank you guys so much. And again, like I mentioned, I'm reviewing some applications with real people for this grant, which closed last week Friday. And yeah, those are pretty much all of my updates. And then again, services always, if you guys need to open a case, let me know. If you know someone who needs to open a case, please let me know. And then also all my contact information. Yes, thank you. And then if there's any last questions. Beautiful, thank you guys.
Alright, next up we have our external affairs vice president Calvin Gang.
Good evening, everyone. Happy week 6. Here are my updates for the week. All right, and I'm gonna keep saying this every single week. For the rest of the semester is that we are still doing credit card distribution. We're doing our also distribution for any students that would like and credit cards from our office, for any student boards and offices. Anyone that they would like to help support, ensure that our international communities know about know your rights if they were to be approached by immigration enforcement, and then our also harm reduction work as well. And I know that Councilman Lopara shared some of the work in relation to our also harm reduction regarding businesses and city and working proactively on that as well. And then wanted to share the QR code, which is a UCSA system-wide generated letter that would be to send to the candidates for the next ballot. So as we only know that there is the race for the next governor for in 2026. And so for many students that would like to provide comment strongly for their we can send to all candidates, please do so. And that would be give the video empowering for students to share the users and the priorities that we collectively throughout the state have for the next governor to consider and prioritize as they take their time. I also wanted to highlight the resolutions that we are looking the Senate approves, which is in relation to HR 6718. And that is something that's currently through Congress right now in relation to the connecting loan access for graduate professional students. For students that do not know, basically the HR1 bill that passed last year, it introduced a lot more restrictions and loan caps on student loans than in terms of Grad Plus. It had completely eliminated Grad Plus in its reform. It also redefined what a professional degree means. What is a professional degree, and that also a little more restricted certain degree programs, and so for any students that are looking to go to grad school or go to law school or medical school or anything like that would need to take student loans. They would be under a much more restrictive federal loan environment than they were before HR1. And so this particular bill through that's in the House right now would expand the definition of professional degrees, basically, and allow it to be under a higher loan cap so that students can borrow more loans. And also GCAN, which is the UC's advocacy network, is also introducing their own campaign in relation to supporting HR 6718, so this codified the ASUC staples to support this holiday as well. And then of course, we are also pushing this other resolution as our 067. That I got that resolution out, that's cool. But it's support of the Berkeley Ferry Terminal and the Pier Replacement Project. That is a presentation that's aimed for the Senate last week in relation to building a ferry terminal in Berkeley and or decided that and yeah, so that concludes my presentation.
Alright, so this time we'll go ahead and move on to our appointed official reports, and we're gonna start with Chief Financial Officer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still in it. I have to this way. Yes. Is this what you choose?
Okay, hello, okay. Hey all, welcome to, I think, it's on actually six, feel like we can, but, I have the right number, systems wrong, it's more. I'll create this one. But yeah, so weekdays that reports, first, ASUC, very blank slide, but tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Zoom, we have office hour blocks. Friday, 2 to 4 p.m., we have office hour blocks that one's specific too. So if you want to present that, I can obviously create, so if you can just look at the ASUC website. Access to Wednesday, March 4th as a reminder, 11:59 p.m. There are no late submissions, unfortunately, so please make sure you get them in. Please also make sure you get them in legibly, because we can't read what you're saying or you can't video me. Okay, cool. Very briefly, so CFO technical, questions should primarily direct to Shelby, but if you're interested, there's some resources that I would recommend, but they're not really required for the technical. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next, I'm gonna go into a grant project thing that we've been working on. And I'm gonna introduce 2 members of my team. And the items.
Is there a motion? Senator Garth moves to extend by 5 minutes, seconded by Senator Mendez. Any objections?
Hey guys, my name's Jackson. I'm the financial strategy and contracts coordinator for the city office. I'm on the same team as Jackson, and we're going to present our competition progress for the city. So first, we're going to go over understanding some of the external grants. There are 2 types of grants here: internal grants and external grants. Internal grants mostly refer to ASUC grants, and they are for like standard routine operations and terms of. But what we're going to be focusing mostly on is our external grants, which means from other organizations, things like the Coca-Cola Foundation or the Gates Foundation, that the ASUC can really capitalize on. And there are 3 reasons why all you senators should be kind of interested in these grants, because first of all, they require a high degree of specialization, which all of you have done with running on new platforms already. Second of all, being on the ASUC gives us a really strong institutional platform to be more competitive for these grants. And third of all of you being here have already made a tangible impact on the community, so you have a lot to talk about in your applications. Next, I'm going to go over the steps on how you can apply with the ASUC office back here. So the first part is finding a grant, obviously, and then developing a proposal. And it says basically endorsements for us with the step, but we're also going to be helping you along the way, because there's also going to be a lot of providing information as well that we're going to need to give you, and we're always going to be there for helping. And then you're going to submit the application, and you're going to be in charge of tracking the awards and reporting back to us. So we can kind of split up these for external grants in 3 general categories. The first is community and youth development, which focuses on mentorship and career and readiness. Second is cultural and underrepresented, and the third is environmental justice. And the way you kind of tackle these grants is kind of focusing on your niche area, and then kind of picking 3 or 5 grants to really dive into, and that way you can get the most out of your application. Here's just we compiled a list of some example grants that you guys might want to look into. Yeah. And as always, the CFO is here to help. We've also compiled a spreadsheet of some of that to get you started, but it's really just the beginning for you guys to branch out and to really explore these grant opportunities, because there's a lot of money in these outside grants. And if you really want to expand your office, or if there's a program or anything you guys are really wanting to do, external grants are the way of doing it, especially in the long term. And just to mention, we're always going to be here. So if you want to contact us for any questions, or any any information that you need regarding your nonprofit status or anything like that, we're always here to help. And yeah. Any questions?
But yeah,
I just wanted to finish out this. This is a really nice opportunity and project we've been working on. Obviously, as you know, we're sort of in a bit of a budget deficit, so there's probably not going to be as much internal side funding. But there's a lot of external funding sources that could fit a lot of different projects. So our role here is just to kind of serve as like grant advisors and counselors to help you navigate through different opportunities and hopefully help connect you to an opportunity and help you apply and just make the process of helping empower you all to apply to any that external funding a lot easier and a lot easier. Any questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next appointed officer report, Chief Personnel Officer Shelby Moore.
That shall be.
Oh, we gotta stand. Alright, hi guys. First, some recruitment updates, a lot of movement. Elections council, so assistants for the public defender, elections prosecutor and auditor have either all been selected or they're going through interviews right now, which will be approved next Monday in DC. The campaign liaison position is still open. There's a $500 stipend, and you really are only serving through the end of elections, which is closer than you all may think. Less than 2 months. They are a full voting member, but it is constitutionally nonpartisan, so they can't even be in a nonpartisan office. They have to be in no other unit-based seat, which is the only tricky thing. But if you know anybody, please email me if you really want to get this filled. Ideally, just not a freshman, somebody who has been on, or a first-year transfer, just somebody who has been on campus and seen an election cycle before. But please just email me or not email me, like have, whoever is interested in email me. The student union board is actual open soon, just want to give a heads up, it'll be open at least 2 weeks before spring break. Judicial council, we have 1 seat open and filled it in GovCon on Monday, and then commissions, they are currently sending their noms to myself and the XCOM chair, and apps will be open externally only if the commission don't internally vote on themselves. Okay, and then chief appointed officials. These are closing Friday at 11:59, and then the CTO and CFO are gonna have technicals over the weekend, and then interviews for all 5 of the Senate committees on next Monday. Please email me ahead of time and your respective chair if you're going to be absent, because there's gonna be a lot of like back end planning with organizing applications and where you guys put your notes and all of that. So I wanna make sure that is all smooth sailing, so please give me a heads up. But that being said, it's a really important committee for you to be at, especially because it is very important, quorum is reached. Because if there is conflict of interest, like if you know the person who is interviewing, you're gonna have to step out. And so there's already a limited number of people, and if somebody gets step out, you might not reach quorum, which is a big problem. So please be in attendance, but if you absolutely cannot, please give me a heads up. And then for chairs and appointments, I sent a check-in for Friday this weekend. I'll be on the same page. Okay, so random updates, roster, they were due to 18th. Please submit them. It holds up the process for everybody else. And I just kind of want to explain a little bit why I look at the volunteer forms. So if you don't send me your new roster and people from your office submit, when OCPO goes in to check those off, there's nowhere that they can check off that they submitted it. And so when that volunteer form, they either have 2 things. They can either leave it, and then now we have hundreds of volunteer forms that are just sitting there. And then when somebody who has a roster submitted does submit, then we can sift through. Or it gets approved, and then when you do submit your roster, and we're going to check off, we think they haven't submitted one, because it's already out of the rosters, it's already now into the approved category. So it just makes it harder for everybody. Respectfully, this is not hard assignment, I just need a sheet, and as a reminder, I need it from everybody, and I made that very clear. And so there's a lot of you that still have not submitted them, I do not want to have to ask again. And as a reminder, it's in B courses, so you guys have been really good about that, I have not been getting like emails today. So please, a new roster from everybody, and then you will all get your new volunteer form list. Though I did want to say, you guys did an awesome job with like following my recommendation of like attaching it to your like acceptances. I could tell because like I could tell like your emails went out in a minute or something, so I would get a whole batch of new people at the same time. So you guys were awesome with that. I think we're gonna have a lot less traffic again. So that was when I just tell we already had time in spring, so great job on that. Kind of just jumping around spring commission, this was the past Saturday, 7 out of 8 commissions attended, which was awesome. Fall stipends, I don't really, I think we're almost all good, but I'm not moving them beyond this month if it's for fall, you something like in the spring. So contact me with any questions, but I think we all, for the most part, are good there. Okay, any questions about like roster volunteer forms, just please get all the edits so I can get the info back at you. Yeah. You can ask her.
Oh,
Yeah, you need a microphone.
If we have enough roster, do we email or like we should?
If it's a single person, like, let's say like your spring hiring is done, so you don't wanna spend a whole thing, it's just like, oh, one person dropped from us, you can email me. If it's like a whole, like you just haven't sent me a new roster all submitted, but this is a blanket statement, anytime somebody drops, you can just shoot me a quick email. And the 3 things I need are just their name, position, and email that they're adding, and then you just give me a name for the job. Okay. Alright, yeah, so that's all of that. Just some miscellaneous updates, as Tisha mentioned, we have the EP, CPO, CCO earnings event, and currently working with OP on like an onboarding proposal, and this is another reminder, impact tracker, submit anytime you do something. So that way on the website, it accurately reflects what you've been doing. See, thanks.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I thought it was really glad. I don't know, it's not close glad. I was deep on Facebook.
But. Alright, thanks guys. Okay. Alright.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next appointed officer report, Chief Legal Officer Daniel Dolan.
Alright, I'll make this quick, no slides as per usual, covering out of time as per usual. Basically, just 2 quick updates, I don't know why I look, there's nothing there, but 2 quick updates. First, Secretary Third Judicial Council, so the 9th member has been forwarded by GovCon. We'll look at that later tonight. I'm still doing training for them, mock things, making them as ready as possible for elections. Speaking of elections, we just added Strong Act. Anyone else, I talked about this a few weeks ago. I would have preferred for anyone to come in a few weeks ago, but if anyone in this room is working on a referendum or knows anyone is working on a referendum or amendment, I need that in to go on Monday. That is the latest it's possible to go in and still meet our public notice requirements, because filing goes March 2nd and closes March 13th. If you have any questions, let me know, get my number, or email legal@asu.org, but anyone here is working on an amendment of any kind, it needs to go in by Monday. Any questions on that? Once, alright.
Thank you. All right, next up, we've got Chief Communications Officer Giselle Artiaga.
Oh, I'm so tired, okay. It's so. I'm so sorry, Karen. You know. It's been a. Oh, cute. Hi everyone, hello, hello, I hope you guys are doing well. Oh, I didn't even do that. Oh my god, this is so cute, I haven't seen this. Oh my gosh, yeah, good luck on midterms if you guys started or like in the thick of it, you got this, keep going. Take care of yourself. Okay. Nothing too crazy, updates on my end. We had an event last week with the Alumni Relations Committee, Isha, and yeah, just that. That was really well. That went really well. Great turnout, and our lovely vice chair, Dalton Franco, made a lot of good connections there. So we're gonna hone out those and see what we can do with those connections and what we can build for the ASUC Alumni Association. Had a meeting for the Edmonds Collab event, which we're super excited about.
keeping my office, so just gonna do for that TBD, but yeah, super excited, make sure you guys go and attend. I sent, not me, someone in my office sent you guys an ATC March newsletter form, if you guys have confirmed events for March, please submit those so we can get a newsletter out by March 3rd, so please hold those out. Thank you. Various talking cuts for OCCO, which has been really fun talking to people who are interested in the position. Couple graphics that we got done this last weekend, I'm not gonna go over them. Yeah, upcoming, like I said, ASUC newsletter, we wanna get one out in March, maybe once a month now, cause we didn't do that too much last semester, so please, newsletters for the students to showcase what you guys are up to, so fill that out. Alumni newsletter is also gonna go out, so also fill out that data tracker, I will be sending a reminder next week for you guys to do that if you haven't done so recently. We're working on the voter guide, super exciting for the elections, and yeah, we're having an alumni and relations meeting next Monday. That's pretty much it. If you guys need anything, let me know. Questions? Comments, concerns? Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, next up, we've got our last but not least, Chief Technology Officer, Shlo Such.
Hey everyone, quick updates. I'll go quick. Alright, so the first update is that we completed the SCA community website on Friday with Senator Sydney. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Cool. And then we also finished the Michael's regular website, it's really cool. Go check it out. If you didn't see it, hit me up. I think technology@acc.org, you guys check it out. If you guys want like any support at all, like creating websites for your guys' communities, email me. We're here to support you. We stabilized the decal website after we had some launch issues. As you all know, we struggle with the transition from the old decal board system to now taking over the website, but it's out and it should be like issue free by next semester for the next cycle. And I want to ask you guys a question. Raise your hand if you guys have like struggled like finding clubs on campus. Yeah, so as a freshman, when I came here, like that's something that I really struggled with. And it's a problem on campus that's really close to my heart. And I'm currently working with my team on a solution for a campus-wide club directory. And I know CalLink already has it, but as we all know, CalLink's really hard to work with. So we're already partnering up with the Haas Business Association and their clubs to run a pilot program. And once we do that for their 18 clubs, we want to come to the ASUC and put all the ACC like organizations on this website as well, so we can all recruit together. And if you guys are interested in like solving this problem, or if you guys gonna help at all, just email me. I would love to talk to you guys. Just a few other updates. We are advancing a LibCal migration for Manta status, which is an ongoing project to improve library room booking and availability workflows. We are working with campus right now to get access to library data right now. And we initiated a marketing function to strengthen launches, adoption, and student-facing storytelling. And then again, if you guys want support from the technology office here at the ACC, do email me at technology@acc.org. I'm gonna bring this back to current read. So this is what I'm reading right now. It's called the 4-way path. If you're interested, let me know. Yeah, do it. If you want to start a book club, I know we tried studying one out. It didn't work out, but if you guys are actually interested, do let me know. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then
Next up, we've got our election council chair, Ryan Javier. Oh, also, if you present it, please make sure to share it to send admin assistant, so they can see the agenda.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, I had a midterm last week, that sucked. Anyway, report. Full half events, last Tuesday and after this Friday, we had the US transformation sessions. I think everyone came out fine, and we've also got our applicants for citizen for the close, hopefully officially, like, she'll officially appointing them, next Monday at our elections council meeting. Then some ongoing projects, working with Gigi on the election voter guide, and that'll be out probably before as a way to create a open, we're just like establishing the stuff in the format, first of all. But then also working with the daily how to do the elections outreach and coverage, and of course the debates, events, all the times are TV. And then of course outreach the filing period, there'll be an Instagram post on Monday because that's when the filing period opens. Shameless promo. Please follow the elections today now. I'm hoping for a little story repost or just a normal repost button from the Dustin Senate accounts. That would be awesome. And then. Well, peeking ahead, filing period opens, like I just said, next Monday at 9 AM Calendar, and then we'll close Friday the 13th at 5 PM with no exceptions locked in. And the mandatory elections meeting is on March 17th, right, in the Senate chambers from 6 to 8 PM. And then the point of no meeting will be March 20th at 10 AM. That's just for us, so that's probably the only finalized out. And that's all. Any questions? Also, feel free to email me. Awesome, that's it.
Thank you so much, yes. And yeah, these reports are really an opportunity for you all as board of directors and the legislature associations, like know what other advocacy efforts are going on in other units, offices, so. I want to get plugged in with anything you hear about during these meetings, like feel free to reach out to me, I can help plug you in with those advocacy efforts. Because we're all stronger when we work together.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. There it is, okay. Great, so now we're gonna move on to committee reports. So committee will now have a chance to write a brief update of what you discussed this week in committee, so we're gonna start with finance committee, Senator Alright.
Hello, so for FICOM updates, we had a lot of applications just because of the holiday. And then we also were able to review 2 bills, one of them being the finance updates, and it mostly, it's a pretty long bill, but it was just mostly like expanding the CFO's like power, helping with like the FICOM process and also like ethical spending rules, and then we're also able to review, I think, one of the COSTA bills, which is pretty straightforward. But yeah, that's all.
All right, and then University External Affairs Committee, Senator
Yeah, we posted a couple resolution similar advertising, we should do the CCO stuff, very exciting. Thank you, Annie, very good.
Great, and then Governance and External Affairs Committee, Senator Beasley.
Where's the other one?
It's
okay.
So this week we just went over some resolutions that had to do with certain contracts and agreements and finance updates as well. Which you guys can see that pop up on the agenda tonight. Simply like finance ASUC, which I hear is like a set of live that are coming. Yeah, so the student fund for me. Other than that, we did, motion to move forward the establishing of the undocumented student affairs commission as well. Also contracts having to do with cost of funding and so on.
Great, thank you so much. So now we're going to move on to public comment on the consent calendar and items of the consideration. So, if any members of the public here to give comment on items on our consent calendar, you can feel free to line up on this side. At this point in time, you may make public comment relating to any business items, individuals who wish to speak. They make one general public comment which may not exceed 2 minutes, and the speakers cannot yield over the time at any point. Reminded that this portion of the meeting is dedicated to matters directly to items of the consent calendar review consideration, and general public comments continuing to be associated may not be made at this time. And once again, representatives reserve the right to cut off speakers who exceeded their allotted time, remove members of the general public from the meeting if they constitute a serious disruption to the orderly conduct of Senate proceedings. All right, so if you want to come up here, you can introduce yourself, and then you all have 2 minutes to give public comment. You can also like say your relationship to the university, and then I'll time it out when we have 15 minutes.
Can you hear me? Perfect. So hello, my name is Adam Souza. I'm a Berkeley Law student. I was a part of Cal Legal, which was the organization that published that very long document in regards to the alleged Title IX violations at the University of California, having against pro-Palestine speech, in particular to students. And so I'm here to speak in favor of, I think it's resolution 58 about pay-rent. I want to be mindful about what I speak of, because I think positionally I would be best to talk about what 2301 is, which is the reaching policy in which he was allegedly in violation of, and I'm going to give a little bit of pushback from the legal point of view of that. And so I've worked a lot with this policy in preparation of that report, and it's sort of captured in its essence as the policy. It's a policy that prevents distortion of instructional processes, which basically means you're not allowed to use class time to do political indoctrination. It doesn't prohibit controversial speech. It doesn't prohibit a faculty member, a staff member from having a particular set of values or politics. It's prohibiting political indoctrination. And now let's look at the facts. Class was held, the curriculum was met, the students were dismissed, and nobody was graded on whether or not they stayed afterwards. So it's a pretty clear and cut case that class time was not materially replaced by this political indoctrination. And so the policy must be enforced precisely if you care about this argument, because overly broad, it starts getting into the realm of us censoring more and more. First, it's Palestine today. Tomorrow, it will be ICE and the immigration issue happening across our nation. Next is trans rights, and we've seen the administration doing that. So if we do not stand up now, there won't be any time to stand up. And so,
Time is allotted. Sorry.
again, just vote in favor of 58. Thank you.
I'll time it out when we're at 15 minutes.
Hi, my name is Max Schlossberg. I'm a student in the State Department, and I'm here to speak in support of Senate Resolution number 58. As you all know, Gary was suspended and last semester for the remarks he made outside of class for the summer strike preventing genocide of Gaza. His suspension is a gross misinterpretation of academic freedom and an abuse of power by Benjamin Herman and Jelani Nelson, the each chair. What happened to parents sends a message to all students and all faculty that our university is willing to selectively attack free speech if it fits their political agenda. Since his suspension was announced, we have gathered over 1,900 signatures from students, alumni, and community members condemning his suspension. Berkeley Faculty Association and UCATF have gathered over 300 signatures from faculty and staff, including numerous CF professors, such as Professor Emma Pearson, the professor who co-taught with Taylor while he was on hunger strike. His words and actions, when words and actions done outside of class can result in suspension, our education quality becomes severely impacted, as faculty now feel repercussions for any action we take. Additionally, it is especially important in the CS department to discuss how things we learn impact the world around us, as CS is at the forefront of so many dangerous things in the world. Silencing faculty we speak about relevant social issues creates a dangerous precedent which must be avoided at all costs. I strongly urge you to pass this resolution and demand a communication with fair and talent. Thank you.
Then I'll turn my gavel in 15 seconds.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm a graduate student here. I used to be in all of y'all's shoes, actually, at one point when I was an undergrad and involved in undergraduate student government. And I know why a lot of y'all are here, looking absently at your computers, not listening to a word that we say, here to polish your resumes and hope to make some modicum of piecemeal institutional change. And y'all really intricately reported on all the meetings about meetings that have been had for the past 2 hours. Some of which include really incredibly important people, like the executive vice chancellor and provost Ben Hermelin, who had the ultimate authority to recommend pay rate suspension, or even go as far to fire him entirely. So I hope every one of you holds the moral fortitude to not only vote yes on this resolution, but I encourage you to take your advocacy a step further than formally condemning the suspension of pay rate without pay, and to use the immense access to institutional power you have here to actually mean something. Your presence here is an invaluable privilege, while there's not a single university left in Gaza. If there's anything that you believe in, what was done to pay rate can happen to you. You are not safe. You're not safe.
Right, fellows, on your students, public meeting, how. I just wanted to say, bring to the conversation with me, someone like Aaron is assigned from the school. He's someone who put so much at risk to do what he did, and being someone like that, it speaks more to what is at risk for everyone. Was at risk for future issues, was at risk for us as students and faculty. Aaron put himself at risk, put his body at risk in an institutional responding to his suspension. There was more at risk for it than you ever want to realize, and Aaron, the situation of Aaron is just factual. Like, when ran to school for our education and free speech and what it means to be an academic in today's society.
What's going on tonight?
My name is Ria. I'm an undergraduate at UC Berkeley, and I'm speaking in favor of Resolution 58 out for Fair Pow. Parent suspension is a continuation of the university's repression of free speech, particularly political speech in support of Palestine. It sets a precedent to silence all faculty that want to speak up to protest the university's investment in genocide. Faculty are already reporting that they are afraid of engaging in political speech inside and outside of class. This action is clearly meant to create a chilling effect, preventing not just faculty from speaking up, but it is an attempt to quell all student movements as well. How can we effectively advocate for what we want when faculty are not standing behind us? It is vital that students make it clear right now that we will not stand for this blatant violation of free speech on this campus. Vote yes on resolution 51.
Sorry, I'll tap my gavel when you're at 15 seconds. Okay, so.
Hi everyone, my name is Nadia, I'm also a graduate student here at Berkeley. I want to echo what Anya student Foley said. I think you're hearing a lot of people who are recommending you to vote yes in favor of this resolution. I'd like to encourage you to do that and more. I think this is an opportunity not to just see it as, okay, well, I signed this resolution. That's, you know, my civic duty, that's my responsibility, I did the right thing. I can feel good about that. I really encourage you guys to think about the positions that you're in as senators, as members of student senate, and how you can use those positions of power compared to other students and compared to other people to further leverage that and to actually do more than just a resolution that condemns his suspension, but really fights for him to be reinstated, especially with full pay. Because again, if this isn't something that's overturned, this is something that can continue happening, right? Whenever there's someone whose political speech is considered unfavorable by the University of California, they'll just continue to do this unless we make sure that it stops right here, right now. Thank you.
I'll tap my gavel when you're at 15 seconds.
Hi, I'm Jalen. I'm an undergraduate student, and I also like to state in support of the resolution number 58. As a Jewish student, I would like to just state that criticism of the state of Israel and political speech opposing genocide is not anti-Semitic. And yeah, please vote yes on this resolution and continue to use your privilege to do as much as you can to make this campus a more just place. Thank you.
And I'll tap my gavel when you're at 15 seconds. 2 minutes. Yeah.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon everyone. My name is Yusuf Quran, President of Muslim Student Association. Parent Cow is someone that I think we all want to be. In a culture of contentment, in this day and age where we feel no need to actually make change because we're content in this, capitalist society. Parent Cow was the only one who actually spoke up. Not a single other lecturer in the CS department has the guts to speak up for what he has to do. The CS, each department has a requirement of ethics. What is ethics except for what Parent Cow actually embodied? Parent Cow is someone who actually thinks and embodies what it means to be a human being. What it means to stand up against this whole AI revolution, dehumanizing the human race. Not only that, but Parent Cow is someone who speaks up for the body, the student body of the Muslims on campus. The topics that he speaks out against is the same ones that are affecting us as Muslims on campus. Last semester, we tried hosting a Black Palestinian Solidarity panel for Black and Palestinian speakers to share insights in collective liberation and intersectional activism. But what did the university do? They silenced us. They randomly took out and swept took the rug right under our feet without any, no transparency whatsoever. If we continue to allow this culture, the university constantly doing this and exploiting us, at what level are we going to actually put the limit and put the stand on? Thank you.
Yeah, you have 2 minutes and I'll tap my gavel when you're at 15 seconds.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas Worthy. I'm an undergraduate student at UC Berkeley. As a visibly Muslim woman on campus, I express myself every day with what I wear, what I choose to represent, and who I am. It's very blatantly obvious for what I represent and what I value, and that is freedom of speech, moral ethics, and collective liberation. And by supporting this resolution, I firmly believe that you'd be able to support myself and support people who are similar to me, who are marginalized on this campus, who go through constant discrimination, blatant targeting, and if this resolution is passed, it goes against the safety and the stability for Muslim women, and other marginalized communities, people who support Palestine, and all of these, and all people who want to express themselves. This is a community and a place of freedom of speech and expression, and without that dialogue, we're collectively choosing to support fascism. Thank you.
You have 2 minutes and then I'll tap my gavel when you're at 15 seconds.
Hi, I'm Gemma, and I'm a data science major at Berkeley, and I was also a student in Kieran's CS51B class this recent fall. I just want to speak in support of Kieran and really urge you guys to fight for his reinstatement. I saw firsthand how capable and how wonderful a lecturer that Kieran is. Throughout his hunger strike, when his body was literally in just severe hunger, extreme pain, he was still a very, very capable professor. He still encouraged us and fostered such a joy for computer science, such a joy for programming, and also using our STEM skills for good, and also thinking beyond just ourselves, being selfless in the careers that we pursue and what we contribute our talents to at Berkeley. So I saw this firsthand as a student in this class, and he's completely capable. It contributes so much labor to our CS department at Berkeley. And he's just an invaluable person. I think that the move to suspend him without pay, it's not just an attack on free speech, but it also really undervalues and undermines the amount of labor that he puts into the department and the amount
of, yeah, just like joy and fostering students to really like be selfless and work towards a better future. So I just want to really strongly urge you guys to fight for his reinstatement and to support the resolution, with parent. Thank you.
Well, 2 minutes, and then I'll tap my gavel when you're.
Hello, my name is Darren and I am a third year studying computer science and I am, like, everyone before me, I'm also here to speak in favor of Parent Now. Because I have been a student of parents like pretty much my entire time here. I took 61B, I took 188 last semester, which is the semester, his final semester before getting suspended, the semester during which he taught during his hunger strike. He was still an absolutely flawless professor and lecturer during that time. And I think that I would also just like to underline that the message that he has sent to all of us as students, which is that we should really highlight the amount of ethics in STEM. I know that people, the other students before me have mentioned that we only have one ethics requirement in EATS. As a CS student, I would like to also highlight that we have 0 ethics requirement for our Bachelor of Arts. And that is the one thing, and as soon as parents talks about it, he gets suspended because people are just like the administration is afraid of us talking about ethics, gaining critical thinking skills, because it is private equity and corporate interests that is driving our own course material. 61C was developed with the support of Apple, like Apple Technologies directly influenced our course material. And Yakoda, who also, he also mentioned that when I took the class with him. And it's pretty obvious, in my opinion, that standing up for Palestine is actively going against the interests of all of these tech companies, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Palantir. All of these people do not want us to be mindful of what we're doing. They want us to be worker drones, and that's pretty much it. And that's why I think that's why obviously I implore you to vote in favor of Parent Cow and further his message of ethics in STEM. Thank you very much.
Are there any other members of the public here for public comment? Okay, in my capacity as chair, I'm going to entertain response to public comment at this time for the items on immediate consideration under bylaw 1201. Normal rules apply, they usually apply to response to general public comment, so if anyone, any ASUC official wants to respond to general public comments, you do so.
I just want to thank you guys all for coming out and speaking. As someone who's a poli sci major and has taken CS and data 8 classes, ethics is such an important part, specifically in STEM courses. So I just want to thank you guys all out for coming out here and for advocating for parents. Thank you.
Yeah, I also just want to echo what everyone said, and thank you to everyone from Center Palestine for helping me write this bill. And I just want to also echo everyone's like personal stories that they have with parent and like being in this course and just like seeing the effects of the repression of academic freedom. I think it's very important. But yeah, thank you.
I'd also like to offer a response. I wanted to encourage folks to, if you have capacity to, next Wednesday, they're meeting with the chancellor and his cabinet, and they're all going to be here in this room. So if you can come out, I really recommend you to. On our agenda, we asked the chancellor to address Aaron's suspension in his report. And hopefully they address it. When we try to ask like administrators about it, we keep getting passed off from one academy to the other, and it's the same like very frustrating experience. So really want to commend everyone's passion. All the legislators who are supporting this bill, also members of the public that are passionate about this bill's passage as a form of legislation, being activism, and us all working together, organizers, ASUC, as students together to be able to fight for meaningful change and for the administration to be transparent with us. And I also really wanted to echo on his public comment. I really appreciate that because I think that it's really important for us as leaders to be able to step outside ourselves. And I know that we come to these meetings every Wednesday, but we need to understand the reason we're here and the activists who fought for us to be able to have these seats. And see how we can leverage these positions, to keep pushing, even though we try and keep people know, figure out creative ways for us, to get together, advocate things like that. Are there any other responses to them, or sorry, any responses to public comment on the consideration? All right, seeing that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next agenda roll call, so we'll call the roll before we vote on items for today. So please indicate you're present when your name called, starting with Senator Musi, Senator Albright, Senator Beardsley, Senator Cannon. Not here, Senator Cho. Here. Senator Representative Vigo. President Senator Wilchwangi. Senator McCarroll.
Here.
Senator Mayon.
Here.
Senator Mendez. Here. Senator Nunez Rivera. Here. Senator Rodriguez. Senator Santos. Senator Scott. Not present, Senator Solomon. Here. Senator Sandy. Here. Senator Reading.
Here.
Senator Dunn. Here. Senator Tide. Here. Senator Schmidt. Senator Yang. Here. All right, at this time we'll now move on to the consent calendar, so I'll defer to you guys if you want to vote on consent calendar as a block or individual. Feel free to make whatever motion you feel is appropriate. We can also do roll call or just raise hands or anything.
Good question. I have to make a quick edit. Do I have to move it to immediate consideration?
But you can't make edits with the bills on the consent calendar, so we have to move it to immediate consideration, add amendments, and then move to approve the minutes.
Then I move to, move SR 58 to the consideration.
So moved by Senator Albright, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Scoobie, any objections? All right, seeing here none, SR 58 has been moved to immediate consideration. We can do consent calendar first and we'll go to that. Okay, any motions on the floor? Yeah.
Point of inquiry, SR 57 is like, I'm not able to access it.
Can we update during? Oh,
Wait, it's not the updated file.
okay, could you share the update if you have it?
I think that's how possible.
Okay.
Or like it's something.
Okay.
I don't know why. Should I just, I found the doc, should I just email it to?
Yeah, if you want to send it out, just send it, if you have an updated version of the resolution. I think in the meantime, let's go ahead and move that resolution to immediate consideration. I'll just noticing that the title of it needs to reflect. It says 26.7. Could we have a motion to move that to immediate consideration? Let me figure this out.
Motion to move item F to.
Senator Beardsley moves to move SR 57 to immediate consideration. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Reading. Any objections? All right, the agenda will be amended to reflect that, and then we'll figure out the situation with the updated. Alright.
I sent it to you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, great. We'll do that one technique. And then yes, the agenda should have had the appointment of the Corporate Judicial Council that GovCon forwarded. That's now. Elected. Alright, is there a motion on the floor of the consent calendar? Adopt the consent calendar. Senator Scoobie moves to approve the consent calendar, items A through L, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Beardsley, are there any objections? Alright, so items A through L on the consent calendar pass with unanimous approval. Okay, now we'll go ahead and move on to immediate consideration. First up, we have item A, is there a motion on the floor for item A?
Motion to edit, so the part about, you can see what line it is, where it's like Jaylani is the Eeks chair, Jaylani and John are the Eeks chairs, can I just control F, or I can find it, like,
What's the page?
it's on it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the fourth on the first page.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add that, there's a mistake, John is the CS chair, so just Eeks chair, Jaylani Nelson, and CS chair. And then, I also wanted to open it up if anyone would like to add their name to co-sponsor. I wasn't able to send out an email, but just if you want to quickly.
Just do cross. Okay. And then you wanted to make amendments to add co-sponsors?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have a list or are you just asking?
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Send.
Alright, so what we can go ahead and do is. I can just, I'll write it down right now, can I can do it on your, oh yeah, or do it. Alright, we'll figure this out, okay. Isabel will do it right now, so just keep your hand up. Jada, you're good, Aiden, you're good. Colton, you're good. Abdullah, you're good. Sydney, Ty, you're good. Bella, you're good. Sorry, you're good. Selena, you're good. Abigail, you're good. Red, you're good. Anna Maria, you're good. Nikki, you're good. Rain, is your hand up or? Okay. Should be good. Yeah. All right. All the people who raise their hands should be reflected. So yeah, Kiana, we're there too, right? Yeah, Kiana, you're good. Okay. All right. Yeah. So those amendments have been reflected as well. Just refresh. Any other amendments? Or discussion?
Wait, this is like a grammar. Sorry, should it be like, you see how the time is much as somewhere overrides as case and in parentheses, shouldn't it be like J name case? I can edit that right now,
Okay.
I.
You have edits?
Yeah, I just.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, okay. People please have a listen.
They did.
Yeah. Or, oh, no, they didn't.
No, you did. They were supposed to, right? Oh.
She was moving to a motion, but it's okay. This is, I guess it's still the same motion. Which
Oh, ain't good.
I just realized it's still in the motion. We are not in discussion. So this is the motion. So, there's a motion put by Senator White to add the amendments underlined and start through text, and those are all the amendments you want to call it, correct? Okay. So motion by Senator White, there's a second. Second by Senator Ty, are there any objections? Okay, seeing and hearing none, FRPJ has been amended. So now at this time, if there's any motion on the floor, right?
I move to approve, SR 2026-58 as amended.
So moved by Senator Raymond, second by Senator Yang. Any objections? All right, SR 15 passes with unanimous approval. Okay, and then next up we have item B, SR 57. Something like this is the written by external affairs. Okay. Is there a motion for item B? Senator Yang moves to approve item B on immediate consideration, second by Senator Yang. Any objections? Raising and hearing none, item B is also passed unanimously. All right, we have three resolutions on new business today. So SR 2526-67 will be going to University and External Affairs Committee. Item B, SR 2526-68 will also be going to University and External Affairs Committee. And then SR 2526-69 will be going to Governance and Internal Affairs. All right, and then now we'll move on to announcements. So every senator will have 2 minutes to give a brief update about your office. And so we'll go ahead and start on this side. Yeah, sorry. And then yes, I'll have my gavel when you're at 15, but I can follow up your update.
Beautiful, hey guys, thanks for passing by, resolution regarding Johnson American Constitution. I feel like the topic today on collective deliberation, especially that being one of the disability justice principles, is really, really important, so thanks for that. Yesterday I had a meeting along, or not along with that, as well as the things that have no importance, with one of the UC region, student regions people, with the executive leadership with DSP and the DCC, or the Disability Cultural Community Center. That was really important because we advocated for cultural spaces and the importance of our community centers, especially because the DCC is tied to DSP funding, which has been a really big issue regarding these regions, and hopefully that happens in November. So I also with Bomer, who's behind me, my chief staff intern, so shout out to those in my office. Yeah, that was a really interesting meeting, but it was also super important, so I was glad to be invited. We also had a Lunar New Year event on the 18th. We just got the final count back. I think we had over 100 attendees, and it was really cool to just see. I think the Berkeley's Chinese acapella came. I'm forgetting their name. The Lion Dance performance group came, and I met a bunch of people that I've been admiring for a hot minute, and I just got to meet a lot of my role models. So that was a really fun event. Yesterday we had a Connect the Area Transit Advocacy Workshop with the Transit Coalition, which has been great. It was really cool to just learn about public transit advocacy and how it will impact our communities moving forward. The one thing I really did want to highlight is the event that I just posted on my Instagram earlier this afternoon. It's on March 1st. It's this upcoming Sunday. It's the Disability Day morning. So every March 1st, the disabled community they honor the lives of those lost to Philistine. It's just predominantly it was the disabled community, which are either older adults or children that get killed by their caregivers or parents. That disproportionately impacts the disabled student community or disabled community. So we're holding a candlelit vigil, and we would love to have your community support or repost or just be there and solidarity with us. So thanks.
Hello, everyone's having a great week. I hope your terms are going well. We have our PDA allyship dinner tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. We have 4 different companies coming to just talk about what it means to be an ally to their community. So I'm super excited about that. We have a lot of fun classes coming up, so stay tuned. My office with all our new members, we're handing out wellness packs on Friday and Strong. We're gonna have free Lonnie's. Let Lonnie's stop by. And I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to Barry Cow because he truly is so strong, and I think he truly is the epitome of who we should strive to be. He is super strong and he's great, and I think we should all continue to support him. we continue on to show the administration that, going against parent how everything stands for truly against our, our university standards, so I think we need to keep fighting for him. And then, yeah, in addition, my office is hosting a trans vigil in 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. It's just gonna be, time to recognize trans lives that have been lost within time, and yeah, I hope you guys all have a great week, and yeah.
Hi everyone. So first I wanted to thank everyone that came and spoke about the items on the consent calendar. As somebody who is representing a community that's also very censored during this time, I just want to say that I appreciate everybody that is fighting for the people who can't fight for themselves, and I just really want to acknowledge that. And other than that, I don't really have any other announcements except the International Student Association is throwing a party this Friday, so if you guys want to meet any international students or folks, definitely check it out. And also, I just want to say that the Orthodox Lent fast began on Monday, and I'm partaking in it. It's supposed to last 55 days. I don't know if I'll last the whole time, but it's kind of different. It's just giving up like all animal products, so any dairy, meat, fish, anything like that. But yeah, I know there isn't like a big community also on campus, so I just wanted to acknowledge that, and thank you guys. That's really good.
I like to yield it.
Hello, correct. For my office, we got in touch with this labor organizing union that is proposing with the university to establish a legal defense fund for international researchers. So we're in the process of drafting a resolution to support them on that effort. And then Sarah and I also met with the EABP's director Duke about the implementation of SB 98 for like ICE presence on campus. And this past Tuesday, so yesterday, the International Student Affairs Committee also convened. And for that, our next meeting is going to be within a month. And this semester I've been like getting a lot of like invitation for international student related projects. So I also wanted to extend invitations for anyone who would like to join our next meeting to just stop by. It's gonna be pretty fun.
Hi guys, I'll keep this short, cause I know it's getting kind of late, but my office just had an all staff day, so we, got some like orders and pieces of business done. And we're working on planning like this big, CPR and AED training, and fun fact, I just work at the fire department back at home, so like, well, if you could run that training myself, but we're working on like getting like real people to it. And then also we're, in the middle of planning Mega Shabbat, which is on the Glee, you guys are all invited, it's Friday, March 13th. It's like 500 people, the chancellor's coming to speak, and it's gonna be like a huge free dinner, so yeah. I'll send out like a, like, recap, but just.
Hi everyone, I'll share a little bit about my week. We had a pretty active week in my office. So today we had a week, law school admissions panel with my legal director, and he shared a little bit more on the process about what it is to apply to law school. So that was really great. Another thing that I just wanted to point out is that me and my office, we've been working on an initiative where we are raising funds throughout the entire semester, and we will be donating them to the Share Foundation. If you're aware of what the Share Foundation is, they work in solidarity with the people of El Salvador and Honduras to advance social justice, human rights, and sustainable development. Share provides legal and psychological support to deported individuals, and they have hands-on people that are stationed in El Salvador and Honduras, and they've actively also expand medical care for marginalized women over there. So if you want to connect with me through this initiative and fundraise alongside me and connect with me after. But on top of that, we do have our first fundraiser tomorrow. So if you haven't seen our social media, I can let you know what it is. But it is a really cool event, so please come. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a great week. Our office this past week hosted our People Over Politics demonstration. So thank you to everyone who supported, shared, and spoke at our event. Our office alongside the demonstration supported 2 fundraisers for the East Bay Legal Sanctuary Covenant. Through the Brady fundraiser with the local Bay Area chapter of Ponte Moños, called Break for Raids. We fundraised $932. 280 of that was through our specific sprawl fundraiser, and the rest was from the Dolores Park fundraiser. Additionally, Latina Caucus held a QR and digital fundraiser that fundraised $85. So in total for our demonstration, we donated $1,017 to the East Bay Sanctuary Covenant. I just want to thank everybody who supported. This would not have been possible without you guys. So definitely wanted to share that. And also, through my capacity as an organizer, we fundraised over $300 for Chibla, which is a coalition for humane immigrant rights. Another organization dedicated to providing legal representation for people facing deportation. And I just also wanted to take the time to highlight the importance of our roles as organizers. Given our platforms as the ASUC senators, you have the power to provide direct change and support in our communities. And I want to note that not everyone has the privilege to engage physically in protests or demonstrations, but showing up and being civically engaged is present in many different ways. It's community care, it's donating. And I just wanted to highlight and share that as senators, we have the platform and the privilege to do so. So I want to encourage and just thank everybody who's been supporting their communities through fundraising, through mobilizing. But with that, I'll yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Hi guys, for those of you participating in Lent, good luck. I'm also personally participating and spending this time a little bit more intentionally in prayer. So if you guys have anything, any questions about prayer, about Lent, about things that you want me to pray for, I'm always here for you guys. And on that note, tomorrow is National Collegiate Day of Prayer. So me and a bunch of Christian organizations on campus are going to be participating in morning prayer from 7 to 8 a.m. And then there will be a 9-hour sprawl prayer run. So if you guys are even interested remotely, that'll be happening tomorrow.
I yield that. I hope you guys all agree with me. As mentioned before. I move to recognize Salvation. I'm sure you belong to 2 minutes.
So moved by Senator Maymon, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Mendez, any objections?
Hi everyone, I wanted to start by saying that it's been a little bit more than a week since Berkeley student Santi Sri Messiah passed away tragically. He was an international student, and he before studied at IIT Madras, which is a very prestigious university. And I think as we mourn the loss of a community member, I think it's more important now than ever that we take care of one another and champion on one another. And I also wanted to say that I'm always here as a resource if you're struggling or if you know someone who is struggling. But yeah, besides that, our office is also planning on having a few more student wellness events. We're having our tennis evening again next week, but we always want to make sure that we're having community spaces and that something like this doesn't happen again. Besides that, it's a very busy time for our caucus. We have our office collaborating with the student union for Holy next week on Wednesday from 12 to 2 p.m. Please be there. And then ISA has their Holy on March 7th. Ines has Bollywood Berkeley and Zellerbach on February 28th. And then Punjabis at Berkeley has Bhangra Bash on March 7th. And Sarah and I are doing a film screening of Sabar Bunda or Cactus Beard, and it's a queer love story set in South Asia. So you guys can be there. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I know I said in the group chat, I was just national business that women had, and I'm gonna say a few things. My office are planning a few cool events. We're gonna have a Swana town hall in preparation for the Swana Lobby Day in April, and so that town hall is gonna be in the first week of March. And then we have a few other cool events. We're doing a collab with Good Molecules, a few cool workshops, a few cool bills we're introducing. But most importantly of all, we're gonna have our in collaboration with MSA.
in just a week and a half from now. It's gonna be around 260 people we're gonna pull up. So I know I just a few of you guys to reserve tickets. So if you haven't already, please do so. This is open for everyone. You don't have to be Muslim. And I also want to thank everyone who came to speak in support of Parent Cow. This issue of Parent Cow, it doesn't just affect one person. It affects, you know, the fact that freedom of speech on this campus has been under attack and it continues to be under attack. Whether we talk about Palestine and advocating against genocide, whether we advocate against ICE, whether we advocate for our own communities, all of that is under attack. So you know, as an ASUC, obviously, let's urge our university to do something. But as students and as individual senators, whenever we're in meetings with administration, with faculty, we have to bring this concern up. It is our responsibility. I sit on the Academic Freedom Committee, which is a committee made up of 12 faculty members, and I'm deeply concerned about what I'm hearing in these meetings, especially in regards to parents' case and in regards to academic freedom at this university, a university that's been known for being a bastion of free speech. So I think, you know, we should take this concern a lot more seriously, and I think moving forward, we should be very intentional in our conversations and our advocacy to ensure freedom of speech is protected on campus and anti-genocide advocacy is protected on this campus. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so from updates from me, again, we're just able to pass the Mayor and Cal bill, which our office worked really hard on. And yeah, just to echo what everyone said, I think it's definitely a reach of academic freedom, and we should continue as senators to keep fighting against that. And yeah, if anyone wants to contact from Extend for Palestine, I can also share that with you. And then I guess the other thing that we're focusing on with our office is Mustafar, which has been kind of taking up like most of our time. And yeah, it's coming up next week. So thank you.
Hello everyone. I kind of want to use my announcement time to shed light on still what's going on in Iran. I think just because it might not be as prevalent in the media consistently. A lot of people think that the problem is magically disappeared, and that's not the case. A lot of Christian organizations outside of UC Berkeley have posted on Instagram calling this Friday Global Day of Student Actions for all Iranian students. And tens of thousands, including Iranian university students, have been killed by the evil Islamic Republic regime. And the youth in Iran continue to risk their lives in protest. What the event this Friday, which we're kind of having a walkout in solidarity with Iran in collaboration with ISA, ISO, and MEMSA, is going to be standing in solidarity with the Iranians who are staying their lives protesting for freedom. This will be taking place at the Glade, 12 p.m. this Friday. And I know it is last minute, but I hope that you guys can take time out of your busy schedules to join us in solidarity. Hey guys.
Hi guys, hope everybody's doing good this week. So glad to be to the admin as well. Yesterday our office hosted the Black History Month Gallery with the student union. We saw attendance of about 120 students stopped by, and there was a lot of amazing student made art, which was really great. And then I've been talking about this for a while, but Culture on the Block is actually coming to life this Friday. I really want to thank Matt and Miguel for so much help that they gave. We've been planning this for literally like as soon as I stepped up this campus. This year was very different because we didn't have to create a culture on the block because Aaliyah graduated, and then we also didn't have any support from the ASD. So this was really just my office, and my office they came in, they went running, and obviously also the only Black senator here too as well. So it was also very tough to have to rely on. But we came in running, and we have a lot of plays and things going on, like carnival games. We have a bunch of vendors selling clothes and doing different things. And then we also have just students coming out on the VRS performing and so many different things happening. So definitely stop by and check the house as well. And obviously the concert from 5 to 7. Shout out to Ryan Benar. And obviously gonna be making matcha. So we got a lot of making matcha, also like and we also hosted Black Wednesday today to promote Culture on the Block, which was amazing. Lots of students came out. It was also a collaboration with ASUC as well. Also spoke at the ICE Tower protest today, which was also really great too. And something that I really just want to talk about a little bit is the state of Black students currently on campus. There's been so much anti-Blackness happening around campus, which is something that we've known so always happened during Black History Month, but it's also something that we should not allow to continue. Our office has been meeting with many students who have experienced it, and students are very eager to organize in every way possible because we understand that there's no way that this is open to happen. There's been a lot of code of conduct proposed to the administration, and we're getting their backing them. And students are really just, they want their voices to be heard, and they want it to not be swept under the rug as a joke, because it really wasn't a joke, and it's something that makes students on campus feel unsafe. There's been so many incidents in Parker where somebody thought it was funny to put the N word written down, and the Black students found it and they felt unsafe at their own space. And that student has continuously emailed me over and over again on what she wants to do, and we've been working in a bunch of things. But I really want you guys to hold your peoples accountable, hold your community accountable for making Black students feel unsafe on campus and making sure that that does not continue, because it's never gonna be okay for Black students to feel unsafe, especially as a 3% or 4% community. And over every day I'm hearing it from my community, I walk into Penny, and that's the first thing I hear from people. So it's, well, what are we doing about it? What are we gonna continue doing about it? And students are tired, especially because for the past years, everybody has let it slide. And this year, we're not gonna let it slide. So as we continue to work on organizing, I would love for you guys to support, and I would love for you guys to talk to your community too as well, to make sure that actions like this do not continue. Thank you guys.
I just want to start off that I'm really in awe of all of you for using your voice and advocating for your communities. Up to everyone here at Senate. So thank you guys so much. Updates from us. We had our Latina Olympics town hall, where we got a lot of great insight from Latina students here. And this is in preparation for Latina advocacy day in Sacramento in April. We also had a shared information with Senator Rodarte this past week. And then also I just want to highlight that today Isha and USAC passed the resolution establishing the Documented Student Affairs Committee as a permanent commission. And this is incredibly important now in centralizing documented, immigrant, and international resources in a centralized hub. So thank you all for passing that. And then just one last announcement, we have our ASUC slash Public Service Center recruitment or opportunities fair next Thursday on the second floor of Eshelman. So before, this is in collaboration with Senator Raymond, Stankovic, and Ty. So thank you all for the work that you have put in and in your collaboration with that. And so yeah, I hope everyone has a great day and great evening.
Hi everyone, I just want to echo what everyone said, and thank you again to Senator Albright for letting Speaking House and Kylie. I learned a lot, and I think it was really invaluable to hear the different experiences from people at the undergraduate and graduate level, and people who have been in the presence of parents have been able to have that privilege of being taught by him and witnessing his advocacy firsthand. So thank you for inviting me to come. It was very insightful. And then quickly going into our updates. We had a very eventful week last week celebrating Lunar New Year. We had a pretty big event with the Southeast Asian Student Coalition and the Vietnamese Student Association for that event. So that is the Vietnamese community's Lunar New Year celebration that happens every year, and we were able to host it as a great collaboration. And we had food and games and the daily talking and talked to us about it, and it was an amazing time. And then just a few days after that, we had another Lunar New Year celebration with the Birthday and Blooming Student Association here in Senate Chambers, where we had food from a local Chinese business, and we celebrated Lunar New Year as a community as well, which we haven't been able to historically do with the Indonesian student community on campus. So I'm really excited to build that relationship this year. And then we had our third Southeast Asian Town Hall of the school year. Just this past Monday, centering the ongoing civil war that's happening in Myanmar. So if you aren't educated about that, I really would encourage you to take the time to learn about the ongoing civil war that's been happening in Myanmar. We had a senator a few years ago who was personally from Burma, and she was a child of this war and witnessed it in real life. And she always advocated for it, and I will continue the advocacy work as a part of her legacy. And some upcoming events we have our city center check-in, also with Good Molecules. I think Abdullah and I have the same kind of connection to that. This Friday, and then echoing what Nikki said about our ACC Public Service Center Opportunities Fair, We have our Southeast Asian Painting Night, coming up on March 12th. A few other Southeast Asian community events, and our big night market happening on Monday, April 6th on Lower Straw with outside vendors and all the RSOs and community dance groups. So I'm really excited for the second year of that. And then we're doing a swim across America that 1 minute.
To extend Sydney's time by 2 minutes.
And then we're going to do similar 2 minutes, like I guys in Solomon, any introductions?
Yeah, just super quickly, we have our Swim Across America fundraiser meet in collaboration with the OUDP and Swim Across America. So this is going to be a really big swim meet happening at First Gym, raising money for pediatric cancer care. That'll be on April 25th. So I invite all of you to come. We're inviting a lot of like people in different Greek houses and student athletes on campus for this big swim meet. So I'm really excited. And then we finally confirmed our space for the second annual Southeast Asian Community Gala happening in Anahead on May 8th. So I'm really excited about that. That's the last day of construction, I believe. So I would love to see all of you there. And it is dated, so just FYI. But yeah, thank you.
Hi y'all, our office had a beautiful retreat this weekend at Blue Oak Ranch, which is a UC reserve. We had lots of community bonding, student-led workshops, etc. Also wanted to bring to your attention, I'm a sustainability fellow for the UC Office of the President. And there are proposed changes for the UC sustainability policy where they essentially want to dilute the DEIJ section to remove phrases like anti-racism and equity based on recommendations from UC Legal. So we're working with the UC Student Region and other student organizers across the UC system to push back on these rollbacks because they haven't been finalized yet, but will in the next few months. And then we're still working with the American Culture Center to develop an EJ minor, building more faculty and student support. Tomorrow night, we have an Eco Office alum panel at 6 p.m. in the Cirque Space in MLK. And former Eco Senator China Duff will be there, so I hope you all can come. And then finally, for Eco Lobby Day, we have applications due on March 6th, and they're found on our Instagram page. And all are welcome to apply, regardless of experience. Thanks, y'all.
The last ones I'm not gonna make you listen to me, but have a good week, y'all.
All right, we'll go ahead and move forward with the adjournment. We'll do one final roll call before we adjourn. Please indicate if you're present, if you're any call, starting to our meeting. Senator Alright. Senator Alright. Here. Senator Beasley. Senator Cannon, not present. Senator Stowe. Senator Representative Miguel, not present. Senator Lozani. Here. Senator McCarron. Here. Senator Mayon. Here. Senator Mendez. Senator Mendez.
So we have.
Senator Mendez. Senator Diaz-Rivera. Here. Senator Rodarte. Here. Senator Santos. Here. Senator Scott, not present. Senator Solomon. Here. Senator Kennedy. Here. Senator King. Here. Senator Madonna. Senator Dunn. Also, we keep voice coming over today. Senator Pye. Here. Senator Schwed. Here. Senator Amy. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Amy, seconded by Senator Raymond. Any instructions? Meeting supervisor, it's 10:33 p.m.